Mr. President, I move that Senate File 965 be withdrawn from the Committee on Commerce and Consumer Protection, Finance, and Policy, be given a second reading and placed on general orders.
To that motion, Senator Port.
I impose a call of the Senate.
The Senate is under call. And Senator Port, that is for this item, correct?
That's correct.
Senator Port.
Mr. President, I move that further proceedings under the roll call be dispensed with and the Sergeant at Arms be instructed to bring in the absent members.
To that motion, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Those opposed, the motion does prevail. The Secretary will close the roll. To the motion to withdraw from committee and place on general orders, Senator Port.
Mr. President, I'd like to request a roll call.
Roll call requested, roll call granted. Senator Port.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, due to unprecedented supply chain disruptions and product recalls, there's a nationwide baby formula shortage that is forcing desperate Minnesotans to do anything they can to find this essential need. Unfortunately, some have chosen to profit off of this desperation by purchasing baby formula in bulk, only then to charge 2, 3, or 4 times the usual amount to working families. This is wrong. Other states are able to take action against these bad actors, but Minnesota doesn't have a law prohibiting price gouging. And we can change that today by pulling Senate File 965 out of committee, bringing it to the floor, debating, and passing it. While there are a lot of good reasons to pass price gouging protections, this particular baby formula shortage makes it urgent that we do this work now. Yesterday, I attended a roundtable with mothers who shared their stories about how they're driving around to different communities, how they're searching online stores over and over various times a day, and how they're reaching out to friends and family in other countries to have baby formula sent to them here because the shelves in Minnesota are empty, especially if they need a particular kind of formula for their baby's health. During the early months of babies' lives, an incredible amount of brain development happens, and appropriate feeding is absolutely essential. Without proper nutrition, there can be long-term health and cognitive damages. We must protect these families from price gouging and profiteering off of this tragic shortage. While other states are able to protect and prosecute price gouging, Minnesota cannot. Senate File 965 would define it into law, prohibit it, create penalties, and give the Attorney General's office enforcement authority to protect consumers. This legislation passed the other body in March of 2021, and despite numerous hearing requests, the Senate Commerce Committee has refused to hold any hearings on this or other legislation that would protect Minnesotans and hold bad actors accountable. Price gouging legislation was also ruled non-germane to the Commerce Committee Omnibus Bill last year. We must do everything we can to protect Minnesotans from malicious greed and profiteering, ensure that they can afford the essentials that they need, and passing Senate File 965 is crucial and urgent to that work.
So members, as a reminder, this requires 41 votes to bring to the floor, and the author has made a statement regarding this, so we've done a pretty good job of describing what this is. Again, the comments should be restrained somewhat closely to the urgency to bring the bill to the floor. First up, I have Senator Dibble.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. This bill is urgent precisely because of the reason that Senator Port articulated already with respect to this crisis around baby formula. Mr. President, it is also urgent because the House has passed this bill. They've had this debate. They've had this opportunity. Now is the Senate's opportunity to have this debate and this discussion. Minnesota is one of only a handful of states that have no anti-price gouging laws around times of emergency, and one of only 14 that have none that have this prohibition entirely. And I'll just say that price gouging is absolutely reprehensible and despicable. It is a scam on people who are in a crisis, in a moment of panic, and have few options and are being taken advantage of, and the Senate should do something about it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Kent.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I also rise in support of Senator Port's motion to withdraw Senate File 965 from committee and put it on general orders. As I speak to the urgency and why this urgency should be realized, I'm going to talk about timing overall in this discussion because it matters, and I've been a party to some of these conversations over the past couple of years. Fundamentally, price gouging, as has been discussed and adequate and well outlined by Senator Port, is about protecting consumers, about protecting Minnesotans. In 2020, when we first began grappling with the realities of COVID and what that was doing to our lives and our access to basic needs, this issue came up, and that was the first time I realized, and I know it clearly, the first time that I realized that Minnesota is in fact one of the 14 states that has no protections for Minnesotans in this. And this hit me hard because I grew up in Hurricane Alley. I am very familiar with these issues. Whenever you see a hurricane coming on shore, you see incidents of price gouging. But many of these states have adopted these laws to protect their citizens in those cases, and so there is accountability. There are mechanisms to hold people accountable when they abuse people during a tough situation. We don't have those similar kinds of widespread weather problems up here, so we haven't had to really look at this question in the same way until COVID started opening our eyes. And as we know, that has been an ongoing challenge because of the supply chain shortages that were global, that further affected the availability of so many things that Minnesotans need. I'll give one example that I saw that in the past year or so, when Texas had their power failure and caused huge problems for people to have basic heat and meet their basic shelter needs, a modest hotel chain was charging over $900 a night for a room. There are protections in there, and similar things could happen here, and we won't have those protections. We've tried for months and now years to deal with this. I remember when this did first come up in the negotiations, when we were coming back every 30 days trying to codify into law, because this needed to be the legislature's work, not the executive branch's work. We tried to codify this into law, but we couldn't ever get to agreement. And the time has come because we've had these conversations too long. The excuses that we kept hearing, basically, are that not all stakeholders agree, so therefore we can't do anything.
Members, it's a little bit loud. Let's keep conversations low or into the side chambers, please. Senator Kent.
Thank you, Mr. President. The excuse that has been given for now 2 years of why we can't enact price gouging legislation to protect Minnesotans is that not all stakeholders agree. And the shorthand for that around this place is usually peace in the valley. We can't find peace in the valley. So we can't even have hearings about it. We can't even discuss it. That's not okay, because the translation of there's not peace in the valley is that the entities who have lobbyists don't like it. They don't want to make a change. They're just fine with the status quo. And so, members, that is why it is urgent that we act as advocates for the people of Minnesota and be their lobbyists and step in and force the people to the table to have the conversation. That is the problem. And in this case, because this is an ongoing challenge that has gone on for 2 years, it is urgent that we deal with this issue and we join most of the rest of the United States in providing these protections for the people of Minnesota. Members, it is our jobs, it is urgent. Please support this motion. Thank you.
To the urgency to withdraw and place on general order, Senator Murphy.
Thank you, Mr. President and members, and I rise in support of the motion, the Port motion to withdraw and bring to general order Senate File 965. Mr. President and members, formula and access to formula is a matter of life and death for infants who rely upon it. I will say that when Joe and I found out that we were having twins, so many years ago, Joe blanched and fell into a chair. He really did, worried about how we were going to afford not one but 2 children at the same time. And it took us a little while to figure out the math. Our kids were born early, about 5 weeks early. They were small, they were premature, they were hospitalized for some time. They were put on an every 3 hours feeding schedule, and they couldn't nurse. And so we were then we needed for their lives to access formula. And you know, once you get into a rhythm with the formula and the one that works for your babies, you want to stick with that. And it was always a chase for us to find the formula. We were always looking for something that was as affordable as we could get it, but we wanted the kind that we needed. I can't imagine right now for mothers, for parents, for fathers, for grandparents, how they must feel right now going from place to place in hunt for the very food, the thing that will not only help their new babies grow, but live. That is the sense of urgency that we are bringing this motion today, because there is no choice. I had no choice. My kids needed that formula. Gratefully, I could find it. When I see pictures of store shelves that are empty right now of formula, all I can think about are those parents. This file, Senate File 965, is something that we should move today because it will bring for us a measure of protection to make sure that those who would want to make money off this short-term crisis, those bad actors, are held accountable, and to make sure that we're doing everything we can as policymakers for those new moms, those new parents, for grandparents, for families, and for those babies. Please vote yes.
Next on my list is Senator Latz, but the chair of the Committee of Jurisdiction would like to speak, and I guess I'd ask if it was okay that I went to him before Senator Latz. Senator Deans.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. And under the situation with the formula and stuff, I would support a motion to put it on, to move this to general orders.
Senator Port, would you like to withdraw your motion to roll call? Nope. Okay. Senator Latz? Passes. Seeing no further discussion, Senator Port.
Mr. President, I withdraw my motion.
Senator Port withdraws her motion. Senator Port. The Secretary, Senator Port, the Secretary will repeat the motion using the House file number. Senator Port moves.
Senator Port moves that House File number 844 be withdrawn from the Committee on Commerce and Consumer Protection, Finance and Policy, given a second reading and placed on general orders.
Senator Port.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask everyone for a green vote. I do ask for a roll call.
Roll call requested, roll call granted. Members, the reason for that is that this bill is, the House file is already here. It's better for us to take up the House file considering it's already here. This does require 41 votes. Seeing no further discussion. There we go. Seeing no further discussion, the Secretary will take the roll on House File 844 to withdraw from committee and place on general orders. Call on Senator Herr to report members voting under Rule 40.7. Senator Herr.
Mr. President, I report aye for Senator Eakin.
Eaton votes aye. Senator Herr.
Aye for Senator Fateh.
Fateh votes aye. Senator Herr.
Aye for Senator Frantz.
Frantz votes aye. Senator Herr.
Aye for Senator Hoffman.
Hoffman votes aye. Senator Herr.
Aye for Senator Johnson Stewart.
Johnson Stewart votes aye. Senator Herr.
Aye for Senator Kunish.
Kunish votes aye. Senator Herr.
Aye for Senator Latz.
Latz votes aye. Latz is already on the board. Senator Herr.
Oh. Aye for Senator Lopez Franson.
Lopez Franson votes aye. Senator Herr.
Aye for Senator Newton.
Newton votes aye. Senator Herr.
Aye for Senator Rest.
Rest votes aye. Senator Herr.
Aye for Senator Torres Ray.
Torres Ray votes aye. Senator Herr.
Aye for Senator Wickland.
Wickman votes aye. Senator Herr.
And aye for Senator Carlson.
Carlson votes aye.
Thank you.
Call on Senator Jasinski to report members voting under Rule 40.7. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Anderson votes aye.
Anderson votes aye. Senator Jasinski.
Senator Coleman votes aye.
Coleman votes aye. Senator Jasinski.
Senator Lang votes aye.
Lang votes aye. Senator Jasinski.
Senator Rosen votes aye.
Rosen votes aye. Senator Jasinski.
Senator Rude votes aye.
Rude votes aye. Senator Jasinski.
Senator Senjum votes aye.
Senjum votes aye. Senator Jasinski.
Senator Thomasoni votes aye.
Thomasoni votes aye. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Ingebrigtsen votes aye.
Ingebrigtsen votes aye.
Mr. President.
Senator Jasinski.
Senator Abler votes aye.
Abler votes aye. Oh, wait. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Pratt votes aye.
Pratt votes aye. All members having voted with the desire to vote, Secretary will close the roll. There being 55 ayes and 11 nays, motion does prevail. House File 844 is placed on general orders.